Evening, ladies and gentlemen across the world. We are here again tonight with Diane. She is going to present the Lanky Beat Show for us. As you know, the Lanky Beat Show, we're going to be exploring different things as we go along on this next series. And notwithstanding that, we're going to kick off this new series with a new way of doing things, because I'm in the studio, that's Bill Hart, and I'm together with Jack Carney. And of course, a lot of you might know, or you might not know, that we actually put together a lot of music, and we've got a brand new CD out called Oh. And what we're going to do with it right now is we're going to hand the hosting of the show over to Diane Herring, who's going to be asking all the questions and spinning all the tracks. Looking forward to it. Are you?
I love that track there. Written by Michael Mitchinson, otherwise known as Mitch, and it's called Lanky Panky.
It is indeed, yeah.
Wonderful. And in the studio we've got Jack Carney and Bill Hart.
Hello.
Good evening.
Otherwise known as Hart and Carney.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
I just love the actual titles you come up for your albums, they're brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, what are you saying? Oh, yeah. That's it. Yeah, we've decided that we like the idea of using kind of, I don't know, they're not words as such. I mean, how can you say a word like, uh-oh? How do you do it?
I think we should put it in the dictionary.
Uh-oh. Everybody knows what it means, but what actually is it?
I don't know, but it should go in the dictionary. It was,
yeah.
And Teletubbies used to do it a lot, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, never watched it. Of course, we had our original CD, first one we ever made, and we called it Ta-da! And nobody really understood that, ta-da. Again, same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, anyway, your careers go a lot further back than this, and starting off with Jack, where did you get into music, Jack?
I guess I was really lucky growing up in the 60s. I mean, I was surrounded, as everybody was in that era, with fantastic music and, programs like Top of the Pops and all that kind of thing. And when I got my first part-time job, I spent my first weekly wage on buying an old clapped-out guitar, which the guy who employed me was absolutely thought I was crazy. But I look back and that's probably the best decision I ever made, because then I used... Yeah, well, I used to watch Top of the Pops religiously and look at all the chord shapes and things, and I taught myself the music. I taught myself how to play, and then maybe 2 years after I bought that guitar, I joined a brass band, the local church brass band, and it was there that I started to learn how to read music and learn the value of notes and all that kind of thing. But actually, after being in that for a couple of years, I decided that rock and roll was for me, really, because it was much more from the heart, and rather than learn music, learn how to read it and then play it, I preferred it the other way around. I like the idea of discovering things for yourself. And
it's much more fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas I put these chords together, what will I get? Oh, I like that. Now what will go with that? And you just play around and find them, don't you?
Well, I think that's right, Diane. I mean, we were talking just before we came on air about, the difference between just doing things as you go along and responding to things that sound good or don't sound good, and learning things through a script. And I think if you learn things through a script, sometimes you get hidebound by rules. And I think with music, there are no rules.
I think it's just do what feels good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like I write music for myself, it's no commercial value whatsoever, but it means a lot to me. I enjoy what I do, and I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that guitar, how long did you have that for?
Oh, I had that. I had that for about maybe 10 years. It was an old acoustic. The action on it, which is the distance between the strings and the fretboard, you had to literally jump on it to press the strings down. But then, as I started to earn a little bit more money through my jobs, that's when I started to improve my stock of instruments, if you like.
So what was your first rock and roll band you were in?
The first rock and roll band, it was actually a comedy duo called Buckham and Chancet. And
Be careful how you say that.
That's a belter, that, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a bloke who was a well-known comedian on the circuit, very funny man, and all he wanted was a straight man to stand there and look a bit silly, which was me, and play the tunes in between. He was actually a very good singer as well, and I used to accompany him as a background vocalist too, and I loved doing that. It was great. So that was my first venture into live music, if you like, playing in pubs and clubs.
Then from there, where did you move on to?
I did a little bit on my own, believe it or not, and that was really quite challenging. I used to go into pubs and clubs and sing on my own, and it was there that I learned the art of doing links between songs, because when you're in front of a live audience, you can't not have a connection. You've got to have a connection.
There's nothing worse than that. This is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't say, well, here's a song from the 50s. You've got to be able to. It's back to that script thing again. If you're working off a script, you'll die very quickly.
Yes.
So you've got to be able to respond to people, respond to the mood on the night, and take things the way you see them. And then from there, I was very fortunate to meet my compatriot here, Bill, and I've had a very long relationship in music with Bill, one that I found thoroughly fulfilling. And we've done lots of really exciting and interesting things together, which I'm sure we'll tell you about as the night goes on.
Wow. So that was an interesting start to your music career. Right, I'm going to go over to Bill now. And Bill's been into music exactly the same. So where did you get bitten by the bug for music, Bill?
I got the bug when I was about 12 years old, and the bug was the local church lads brigade, and I just wanted to bang that drum.
And whereabouts for that?
That was initially at St James's in Poolstock, Wigan, and it's a little primary school, and I actually went to the school as well. And I heard about this thing getting formed that wanted to be a kind of boys' brigade type thing, although it was called the Church Lads Brigade. And I joined that. We set it up initially with two of the senior masters from the school.
Right. And where did you go from there?
Well, we had no drums, and we'd no trumpets, and we'd no nothing.
So you was on the saucepans.
So what we did to raise money, I went home, and I enjoyed making plaster of Paris, pouring it into rubble moulds, unpeeling the mould, and then you had to have an animal, a rabbit or a budgerigar or something. And we made a whole collection of these things, plaster of Paris, mixing ourselves, getting ourselves up to the elbows in it, and then we painted them, and then we went round with a tray, me and my friend who was also in the Church Lads Brigade, and we were selling them at doors, and we made enough money, doing that, to buy the first snare drum, the first what you call snare drum in the Boys Brigade.
Wow.
That's what we did.
And
we continued doing that because everybody wanted to buy our little ornaments. They knew it was for a good cause. And before we knew it, we had 2 drums and I think 4 bugles as well. So, that way we got everything moving. It was just a passion that we all had.
Yeah. What was your first band, that rock and roll band you were in?
Well, there's a little bit more to the story about the Boys Brigade.
Well, come on, let's hear it. Get on with it.
Because before I got to rock and roll, my first ever gig, was in Liverpool at the Cathedral, and it was the mass bands of the Liverpool Diocese Battalion, So they were from St Helens, from Lee, from all over the Liverpool diocese. All these lads came together with their various instruments, and they nominated me as solo drummer.
Wow. So you were good then?
I was 15 years old and they nominated me as solo drummer.
So you must have been good.
I was just so choked, and I got the job. and playing solo drummer, and then of course what I played, when I go, all the other band, members of the band had to play what I just played, and they did after me, and then so it was a matter of me leading all that, and we were marching up and down the Liverpool Cathedral. So I always regard that as my first ever gig.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I was off. I was out of this world for me.
I can imagine.
I was 15 years old, and can you imagine? It was great.
Fantastic.
So, and of course, then 15 years old, that would be around about 1960, 61. And guess what was happening in 1960, 61?
Mersey Beat.
Exactly. So it was an obvious transition. My first band, as you asked me the question before, was a band called the Shims, and it was a bunch of lads who got together. Cousin Dennis was the bass player, Alan Turner on guitar. We in turn then met up with a guy called Alan Bentham on vocals, and he had a mate called Malcolm Green, and he all joined in, and none of us could play a bloody thing.
We sometimes find that works better because you learn together, and because you learn together, you learn to play what the other person's playing a lot easier.
Exactly. It's this business of watching other people doing what they're doing. I mean, we used to nip up to the Westward Labour Club on Tuesday nights.
The Wild West.
The Wild West. Westward Labour Club. And we used to watch bands like the Beat Boys. The Beat Boys were on, and we were just like, you didn't hear the Beat Boys, you felt them. It just went straight through your solar plexus. The place was bouncing, and it was just a fantastic thing. And we were only 15. We weren't even meant to be in the club, never mind watching these bands. So I think I wore my first pair of long trousers to go to the Westward Labour Club.
But you're there for the right reason. You weren't going to drink, you were going to watch bands, weren't you?
Oh, definitely. What was drink? We didn't know what drink was, But
so how did you gel together? Did you learn it all together then?
Yeah, we did. 2 years later, we were doing gigs. Yeah,
that's not bad going. That
it's not bad going. You're learning your instrument, and you're learning how to play your own particular instrument. You're also learning to play with other guys collectively, and that's another experience altogether. And it just evolved. And we became a very popular band in the Wigan area. Yeah, we were world famous in Wigan, you could say.
Yeah, you went on a world tour of Wigan as well, did you?
Yeah. It's absolutely great. It was lovely to do what we were doing, and of course the backdrop to it all was, of course, the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and everybody like that.
Real bands with real instruments playing real music.
And they were all coming up into Wigan. They were all going to the Wigan Emp, which latterly became the Wigan Casino, and they all played there live. I remember Herman's Hermits and Lulu and the Zombies and Manfred Mann. You name them, they just came up. We didn't know who they were at the time, but one or two of them might have had a hit record in the top 10 or something, and that grabbed our interest straight away. Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders.
Yeah, but the thing is though, 50, 60 years later, that music is still being played.
Yeah,
I can't see anything in the charts today being played in 50, 60 years.
Yep.
I can't see it being played in 50 or 60 days, if you got the truth.
I know.
But them days we made real music in this country.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So moving on a little bit, how did you meet up with Jack?
At work. We both worked at a college in Manchester, and we got it together there. If I kind of remember correctly, it would be around about 1980.
Yeah, about 1980, 81, yeah.
So you've both been on the road a long time then with various things.
We're doing various things in bands, and then even I was working in clubs as a resident drummer for a long time, different clubs as well, and Jack was doing something similar with kind of Buckingham and Chances and things like that, and we happened together. we were at lunch, weren't we? Remember?
Yeah. Remember it like
In one of the refectories, as they call them. You might know them better as a canteen.
I remember the refectory at Wigan College very well.
That's it. Well, we were in Manchester College, and it was called the College of Arts and Technology, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Manchester College of Arts and Technology. And we're sat around. We don't really know each other, but you know that you've got a particular kind of culture behind you, and you just open up whilst you're having a meal to whoever. And Jack was sat there, and a guy called Jerry McLaughlin was sat there. And if Jack, you can pick up the story from there. You tell people what happened next.
Yeah, well, basically, it was we were once we all knew we were heavily into music. There was an end of year bash coming up, and we thought, well, why don't we just give it a go? The three of us, no rehearsal, just turn up with our various instruments. And it really went on from there, because I realised very quickly I was playing with two very good musicians here, and we made things up as we went along. And I'm proud to say I don't think anybody in the audience realised that we weren't rehearsed. We just gelled straight away.
I could tell.
But that's the beauty of music, though, isn't it?
Yeah, like you knew what you were doing. You just locked onto each other, basically, didn't you? Just follow me leader type of thing.
That's exactly right. I mean, Bill was hinting just then about the importance of communication between musicians, and with a nod or a wink, you can signal what you're going to do next.
Well, I like when I'm mixing for a band, I like having eye contact with the band so I can see what they want. Because you look for the eyes looking at you, then they'll put the point at the mouth and up, or else they'll point at the monitors and up, so you know exactly what's needed at that stage. Eye contact, nods, winks, and shaking your head says a lot.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Body language plays its part in all aspects.
You can't have a vocal discussion when you're in the middle of a song, can you?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Your decision making's instant. Yeah.
And it's not just about communicating; it's about the other person reading what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you become absolutely experts at each other's nuances, if you like to say.
So you're on the drums.
I'm on the drums.
There was Jack on guitar.
Yeah.
And what was the other guy playing?
Jerry McLaughlin played bass guitar for us, but he was an amazing musician himself, isn't he? He's basically a lead guitarist.
Yeah, he's very prolific.
Prolific. Just a little bit about Jerry. Not been very well of late, but I know he's still getting around and playing a bit. Yeah. But he was invited to join Herman's Hermits and do a season on Blackpool Pier, wasn't he? He's of that standard.
Yeah.
He's never had any problem keeping going musically, and now he more or less makes what you call a tiny living out of it as well.
Yeah, he's a true jobbing musician. He plays probably 3-4 times a week, every week. And that becomes a very quickly a way of life. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, he's I think his main band at the moment is Pete McLean, isn't it? Pete McLean, who was formerly Pete McLean was the lead singer in the Dakotas.
Well, Billy J. Kramer's like.
Billy J. Kramer's, yeah. Well, Brian Epstein took the Dakotas away from Pete McLean, and the rest, as they say, is history. Well, Pete's still going. He's an excellent performer.
I'm working on one of them in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Over in Hart on the Dakotas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure off the top of my head which one it is. Raising money for the theatre in Hyde.
Right. Well, that's the neck of the woods where Jerry lives. Lives over that way.
Right.
And Pete McLean and all that gang over there.
I was going to say, Bill, as well. I'm sure Pete wouldn't mind us telling you this, but he's written quite a few books, and one of the tales in his book, I just cracked up when I read it. I was chatting to him a few weeks ago, and he was telling me how 2 young lads came to see him one day and said, "Pete, we've written you a couple of songs. Are you interested in taking these on?" He said, "No, you're okay, lads. I write my own stuff." And it happened to be Lennon and McCartney. he was the nearly Beatle. Almost made it. But,
goodness me! Yeah, that's it.
You should listen to people like thoroughly, shouldn't you?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Right. So you've done this. Is your second album. You've done this one.
Second album, yes. We're improving all the time, I think.
You give me one of the tracks from this album very early on in the year.
Yes, I did.
And I instantly fell in love with it.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
And it's played regular on our radio station.
Yeah. Well, it's position number 12 on our.
Well, we'll
CD.
get to that later on then.
And so I would like to save that. It's called Light from Darkness.
Yeah.
And I am particularly proud of that particular track. I think we did a fantastic job on it. However, we're going to start, I think, from track number 1.
If I play this, then we can have a chat about it.
Yep, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Track number 1 is simply called... Go on, do you want to announce it?
Yeah, go on.
Go on, you do it.
Oh, it's called Put That Pedal Down.
Hart and Carney there. That's simply called Put That Pedal Down. Go
Yeah.
on. I have to ask it, what's the story behind that record?
Well, it's basically Jack's work, so I'll let Jack explain, how it came about.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, it's a tongue-in-cheek record, really. I mean, I think everybody who owns a car will remember a day when the car's let them down badly.
Yes.
Whether they need to get into work or they're going on a date or whatever. And this was just trying to get across the frustration of that car breaking down. And the unique thing about this song is it's probably the only song that we do which is kind of slightly Americanized, where there's a bit of an American twang in the vocal. Everything else we try and sing in our normal accents. Although when you listen to Bill sing, it's only a thing I picked up listening to Wiganers, that they roll their R's. I had to be careful how I said that. And it can sound very American as well. And I love to listen to Bill sing, and you'll hear that come across on some of the later tracks. But yeah, that one was really a tongue-in-cheek one about cars. Yeah, cars breaking down.
So how long did it take you to actually record the track?
Not long at all, really. We have a way of working now, Bill and I, where we come up with an idea, we'll put the idea on our mobile phone, we'll send it to each other, and then we'll get together with a guitar. We'll work out the basic structure of the song, and then I'll record as much as I can in my home studio, which is a very basic machine, and then we take it into the studio in Lancaster, where we work with an excellent engineer called Mick, who himself has got a great track record in the music industry. And that's just the way of working now. We can produce songs very quickly, can't we, Bill?
Yeah, we're doing it very well now. Yeah. Where normally it would take about 2 years to put an album together. And mainly that was because we didn't get together that often, so we could find 2 years of elapse before we're actually getting round to mixing 12 tracks, as it were. But this one has come together in about a year, hasn't it? So we get together more often now. Jack took early retirement from the job last Christmas, so we're able to get together a little bit more often.
Wow.
And do it that way.
And do you want to tell the story about the engine at the beginning? I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it was my idea, for better or for worse, but I just thought, well, just put a little bit of novelty to the thing and get something like that. So I just said to Jack, come on, let's go outside the studio. And my car was parked in a very awkward position. And I thought, well, what we need to do is just start the car, rev it a couple of times, and that will be it, So that's exactly what we did. And then I thought, whilst we're doing it, I would like the sound to kind of, as it would sound like as if it's driving away. Diminished sound. And we had the bonnet up on the car just to get maximum effect. So I started walking backwards to get the effect of the car driving away, and fell over one of the gravestones that adorn the studio grounds, where we are. It's a little church. It's an old church, and it's been deconsecrated, but the grounds are still the graveyard, and that's still consecrated. So I tripped up over somebody's gravestone, and I'm very sorry about that. But it could have been a disaster. I could have fallen on my backside, but I didn't.
You're all right. The main thing is you're okay. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's go on to the second track, and it's a Christmas one, isn't it?
It's Christmas, yeah. Jack's responsible again. You want to hear? Yeah, this is Jack, more or less Jack's work.
Well, I'll do. I'm the first person to play a Christmas record on Hospital Radio this year, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But also, we'll play it and we'll have a chat as soon as it finishes. So this is simply called a Christmas song.
There's too much fuss this time of year, too much to squeeze in the day. No time to lose, no time to hold things dear, 'cause that just gets in the way. I'll raise my glass and drink to your health, and wish goodwill to you all. It's time time to reflect and make plans for yourself. In time as the snow starts to fall. Christmas time. Settle up your stores and let things be. It's Christmas time. We have the means to all think differently. If you can't answer the question, why do I dream secrets in my sleep? Then pay heed to my suggestion, 'cause secrets are hard to keep. Think sensitively, overcome all your fears. You can heal those wounds, be who you want to be, look forward to happier years. I'll raise my glass and drink to your health, and wish goodwill to you all. It's time to reflect and make plans for yourself, in time as the snow starts to fall. Christmas time. Think of other people, start to share. It's Christmas time. Raise your inspiration, show you care. Raise your glass, be good to yourself. But remember, it's time to be aware. Show your respect, regardless of wealth. Show some compassion if you dare. I made my list this morning. I wish you all stay healthy and free. Christmas is coming, but don't start without me.
Superb sounds. Christmas song. Yes, I'm the first one to play a Christmas song on the radio station this year. Brilliant. And that's Hart and Carney. So was it Hart or Carney who wrote that?
Well, it was Jack who initially put that down. What happens when we produce things? We produce things basically separately.
Yeah.
I'll think of something, Jack will think of something. And then we bring the material together.
Yeah.
And it's usually dominated by the writer. Whoever writes it dominates what goes on in the tune.
Lennon and McCartney were like that, weren't they?
Yeah. And so I had very little to do on that, apart from obviously I put the drums on it, and as a little bit of backing vocal to go on it. But majority of the material, I would say 90% of the material, is Jack. And Jack, of course, we play all the instruments. There's no guest instruments or anything like that. Everything you hear is produced by ourselves, and mainly Jack's instruments are bass guitar, guitar, and keyboards. And those three instruments just do everything we'll ever need, really. And very rarely do we need to bring anything else into play. So that's how we work initially. And of course, we're going to explore new ways of working as well in the future. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later.
Right, going over to Jack, Christmas song, when did you write that?
It was probably about maybe 3 or 4 Christmases ago, and the sentiment of it is, I mean, it obviously sounds very Christmassy. That's the idea. I can remember as a kid when I was growing up, I used to love Christmas, but I have this strong sense now that we've kind of lost the meaning of it. You know, you look in the stores now.
It's commercialised.
September, it's become very commercialised, very materialistic, and kids are kind of comparing with each other. What did you get for Christmas? And, you know, mobile phones, computers, it's become crazy. And I remember Christmas when I was growing up was all about Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and 1 or 2 presents each, and a stocking at the end of the bed with a little bit of fruit stuck in it, you know, a tangerine and that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
And shelled nuts.
Magical.
And the idea was you did look out for your neighbour, you know, you looked after other people, and it was very important. If anybody was on their own, you got them round to the house at Christmas. And I just think, although it's a Christmassy sounding song, the sentiment is about, come on guys, let's get back to what the real meaning of this is about.
Back to basics.
Back to basics, yeah.
Well, I remember once when you said, what do you get for Christmas? And I just said, my family back together.
Absolutely.
Because
That's it.
My son's down in Bicester, my daughter's in Lee, my other son could be anywhere. So I thought, wouldn't it be good to have a Christmas for everybody? So the children were there, the grandchildren were there, and it was fantastic. And to me, that's meant more than anything that Christmas.
Yeah.
So when you started putting that down, was it a long process recording that?
No, not really. I think, as Bill's alluded to already, once you get the idea for the song, you know, you put the basic structure down, and I always start off with an acoustic guitar. I record that first, and then I'll add to it by putting on electric guitar, bass, keyboards, any other kind of, you know, trumpets, mouth organs, that kind of thing. We'll throw a little bit of that in every now and again. And of course, Bill's drums Bill isn't just about drums, he's about percussion. And when you listen to some of our songs, he gives them a lot of definition in terms of the overall sound.
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference between a drummer and a percussionist, isn't there?
Yeah.
Percussionists can basically put a rhythm together from anything, where a drummer's stuck with a set of drums.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Anyway, moving on to the next track, which is it, De La Vie.
Yep.
And we'll talk about it as soon as we played it.
She needed a hero, so that's what she became, clearing out her old world that served no useful way. Electrifying, strange, and magical, mystifying, wild, yet wonderful. De La There's a power within us, and she found it all. If you care to discover, your angels will call. Électricien étrange et magique, mystifié, sauvage, encore marveleux, de la vie. Petit ever shining star.
Hart and Carney there, something called De La Vie.
Yeah.
What does De La Vie mean?
I know. It's they're the initials of a lady who I met on the internet, and her name is Danielle La Verite. And whilst it's a French-sounding name, she's very English. But there's a lot of obviously French connections in her family background.
Yeah.
And I think it's either a mother or a father who was French. But anyway, she was born in this country and she lives down south. And I met her on Facebook initially. I went to one of her talks. She's very forthright, and she has lots of things to say about the world and how it works. And she says it in a very, very kind of what do you say? Sailor's language. Does that describe it? Navvy's language. Sometimes she doesn't hold back, but what she actually does say is extremely profound and well researched. She researches the psychopathic criminal fraternity, and like people like who's the guy, the kind of mass killer, the guy, I can't think of, help me out please.
Like the Moors murderers.
The Moors murderers, yeah, like Myra Hindley and Stephen O'Grady, and the other fella, who, you're not going to help me out on this, are you?
Ian Brady.
Ian Brady, that's the one. Anyway, people like that. She loves to research and how the minds tick. Anyway, that only gives you one little aspect of her life and her work. And she's live on internet, and she's live on, so if you type in Danielle La Verite, you'll get to her website.
Yeah.
And she's into a lot of spiritual stuff as well.
There's a lot of eye vocals in there, isn't there?
There is a lot of eye vocals, and it gives me an opportunity to stretch my vocals a little bit. I tested myself. I didn't know whether I could reach and sound anything like any good if I get up to into the high notes.
Yeah.
I know I've got a fairly high voice and can reach some high notes, but whether it sounds any good is a matter of, it's a matter of opinion whether it sounds good or not. But I was happy to give it a try. It starts off pretty low, and then it goes through and reaches the heights, as it were.
Yeah.
And I reckon I could go a little bit higher on something I might do next.
You have to try it, won't you? And then one way to find out.
One way to find out, and then, of course, put it out there, put the song out there, and see how people react to it.
Yeah.
And some positive reactions to it, yeah. But
well, apparently I sing in the key of Yale.
Key of Yale.
I've got to say, Diane, actually, the day that Bill recorded his voice on that, he did it in one take.
Wow.
And we're both great believers in plug in and play. Don't mess about too much.
Yeah, get on with it.
Yeah, get on with it, and don't over elaborate, because you can go over time and to try and seek that perfection. But Bill did all that in one take, and I think the range he's got on his voice is challenging, to say the least. And I thought he did a fantastic job on that.
Thank you very
I
much.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
I've got to say as well, just a quick one. My daughter, who came in at the back end, she's a good sport. She was watching Bake Off or something at the time. I said, Rach, just come in here and record a few lines for us, will you? And she did it really well. Yeah. Which gave the back end of the song.
So you recorded that at home?
Yeah, we recorded it at home. Yeah.
Yeah, pulled her in out of the kitchen.
Well, again, that was Bill's idea.
Yeah. Obviously, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star just fits the actual bill. And of course, the song is about Danielle, and I really wrote it as a gift for her, and I gave it to her as a gift, and she happily took it on board. That's great. Really? There is one little mention that before we leave that particular track, is that I sing one of the verses in French.
Yeah.
And I knew what the word. There are identical words in the first chorus, and in the second chorus I wanted the same words but in French. Now then, sometimes words don't translate.
They don't.
Very much not, as the case might be. So I have a friend in Saumur in France, and I put these words to her, and her name is Francois Gerard. and Francois happily put me right on most of these words. Actually, most of the words didn't need altering that much, but I wouldn't have known that without her help. And she is, in fact, a French English teacher. So she teaches French people English.
Right.
So she's fluent in English. And of course, and she put me right on that. So thank you very much, Francois. I think you're listening, and if not, well, you could always catch it on Lanky Beat, because I'll be putting the recorded program from tonight on Lanky Beat, and it'll be there forever. And for anybody who wants to kind of get onto the website, and it'll be there from this weekend.
You put it up on Mixcloud.
Yeah, and on Mixcloud. Yes. Yeah. I'll put it on Mixcloud.
Well, anyway, the next track is something called Born a Winner.
The story of the week so far, from my point of view, is to start a new day and not get caught in time. Caught in time, caught in time. Read the sign, read the sign. Never doubt, never doubt. It all works out, it all works out. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I think you need a helping hand. I know it all went wrong. It's time to make it right. Make it right, make it right. Black and white, black and white. Night and day, night and day. We'll find a way, we'll find a way. She knocked me down to the floor. She never respected my name. She always wanted the same, but I wanted more. She'd leave me all alone. She left me with no sense of pride. When I looked at myself inside, and I knew I could make it on my own. That's then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. That's then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. She never admits she was wrong. It was normal for her to take hold. She always had to control. I knew in the end she'd be proven wrong. Belief in me saved the day. I had to believe to protect my health. I learned to respect myself. I never thought it could be that way, but that's then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. That's then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. People all around me kept telling me I had to stand on my own 2 feet. You never know what you miss till you do things differently. That it's come to this is a blessing in disguise. That was then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. That was then, when there was stormy weather. This is now. I was born a winner. This is now. I was born a winner, this is now. I was born a winner. She knocked me down to the floor. She never respected my name. She always wanted the same, but I wanted more.
Hospital Radio, the best company.
Brilliant track. That's an unusual one, isn't it?
It's again Jack's work. I gave it quite a bit of percussion there. It allowed me to experiment with one or two little things that you buy in these little music shops. So some of them are like shaped like an egg.
Yeah.
And you shake them and it like
It's like rice inside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like rice inside. Yeah, and then there's other things like clap of things, and then there's tonk 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 stuff. You know, so it allows me to do lots of little bits and pieces like that.
Most people, when they're doing a song, they put gadgets on a computer they can add to it. You act look for physical gadgets, don't you?
Yeah,
So who wrote that?
Jack, responsible for that.
Go on, Jack. What's the story behind it?
Well, again, I suppose the punchline's repeated so many times. Born a winner. It's about when you face adversity. It's how you respond to that adversity. You either bury yourself and you kind of implode, or you come out fighting and you get up and And I think for myself, I felt I've always had this inbuilt thing that I can rise above things, and this idea of being born a winner. People can do things to me, things can get nasty sometimes, or bad things can happen, but if you bounce back, you're a winner. It's as simple as that, really.
You could easily be born a loser, couldn't you?
Yeah.
There's lots of losers and lots of winners, and Jack is exemplifying the positive side of a personality, and you can accept being a loser, or you can accept being a winner.
Well, there's a song in the 90s that said it. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the important thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, I like that track. Another, the next one is After Me, After You.
Yeah, I'm responsible for this one, and it's a form of it's a love song, and it's about the love of two people for each other who have to split.
Right, let's have a listen to it.
You'll be fine after me. I didn't want to do what I knew I had to do. You'll be fine after me. I'll be strong after you. You didn't want to do what I knew you had to do. I'll be strong after you. After you, after me, after me, after you. Every minute of the day will help us find our way. After me, after you. It's a newfound way to make it through the day. After me, after you. Take your time after me. It's a newfound way to make it through the day. Take my time after you, after me, after me, after you. Every minute of the day will help us find our way.
After me, after you.
Yeah.
What a good
I,
track.
I wasn't sure how that song was going to go. I write a song and I pull it past Jack and I said to him, where have you heard this before? Always do it that way. And if he says, oh, it sounds like da 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 or dee 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 dee, then I kind of have to go back to the drawing board and kind of scrap it.
Yeah.
Because if it sounds like somebody else has or anything that anybody else has written, then it's a no-no as far as I'm concerned. So that was one such song. Anyway, I think I got away with it. And After Me, After You is about, like I said, it's about a love song about a couple who have to split and go their own separate ways for no fault of their own. They don't want to split, but they have to. And that's basically it. I've no more explanation than that for it.
Yeah.
So you have to put yourself in a position where, you know, it might be you that has to end a relationship that you don't want it to end.
Decisions.
Yeah. Between a rock and a hard place, that, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what that particular song is all about.
One thing that stands out to me talking to you both is you've got an incredibly close working relationship.
Yes.
That really does stand out.
Very proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
never been said to me before, but
You know, it does stand out.
yeah.
It's in the face. You've got a great working relationship. You seem to know what each other's doing and where
Yeah.
your ideas are.
Yeah. Well, we're also friends.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been singing together 30 years, 30
Yeah.
odd years, you're still friends. That's rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beatles didn't last that
Yeah.
long being friends, did they?
Yeah. I don't think we'd have done anything like this if we'd have been brothers. I think because brothers battle and fight, hence the Gallagher brothers, don't they? And they.
I don't think you need to be brothers. Look at Lennon McCartney.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And they fell out
Several times.
constantly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't
But-
create a fantastic
Yeah.
song working relationship.
It brings you into another area with our development as a musical team, you know, and the friendship that's gone along with it. And I don't know. It's something that's not definable in a sense. I don't know if you can maybe put it into words, Jack.
I think for me, but I mean, well, first of all, we've got a lot of performance hours under our belt, Bill and I. We've played together to the point where we know exactly what the other one's doing at a particular point in time when we're doing live performances, and that's transcended through different bands, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So that kind of oneness is stemming from that. As Bill said, we also happen to be good friends. But I think for me, we both seem to have this attitude, which I think is probably the success behind the relationship. And the attitude is, you've got to be open to receiving comments and critical, creative comments from the other. So if I make a song, for example, and Bill listens to it and then suggests some changes, if I'm too certain about the song and I think, well, actually, no, I don't want to make any changes, then I think that's where it can fall flat. And I'm receptive to what Bill tells me because I respect him so much.
Yeah.
And it works the other way around as well. We're both very, very receptive to each other's comments. I mean, I just get such a big kick out of when Bill makes a comment about something I might have put together, and I thought, well, yeah, I never thought of that at all.
Yeah,
Just
that's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't make comments through closed doors.
No.
It has to be open, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're absolutely open with each other, and I've just never needed to be critical about anything that Jack does. There's just no need, because to me, his material that he produces time and time again, I just love it. I don't know, some I like less, some I like more, but it's always the same.
Yeah, well,
I love it.
I was very fortunate on this because I was invited up to the studio when you was recording, wasn't I?
Yeah, you did. You came up one day, and I'd spent some time with us. Yeah,
it was fantastic, and the coffee was fantastic.
Oh.
But the studio is so relaxed in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I'm not surprised you can actually write stuff like that and put it together though.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to disturb you, so
Absolutely.
apart from the odd woodpecker you might hear.
Yeah. Or a sheep. Yeah.
Anyway, the next track is Lanky Land. Now, this sounds very interesting.
No, Jack again is responsible for it. But once, a while ago, I wrote a book. I've written a book, and it's a children's story, and it's quite lengthy. And it's a daunting proposition for any child to read it, actually, because it is so long. But for a 13 or 14-year-old, I think they can hack it. They can hack the reading this book. And the actual book is called Unputdownables. And it's a bunch of relics left inside of a warehouse. All things like sheds, like broken down garden machinery, old stoves, you name it, just manky things that nobody wants anymore. But they've been put together because a guy who owns this warehouse won't throw them away. And of course, they all talk to each other. That's basically so, because it wouldn't be a children's story.
Oh no!
And they go on an adventure, and you have to go travel all over Lanky Land to get to Shedport. Yeah, do you get it?
Yeah.
So it's a story about their journey, how hazardous it all is, and it culminates in a very happy ending, I'm glad to say. So Jack and I had some idea that we wanted to write the music score for the film, because it could be made into a film, an animated film, of course, and there'd need to be a score in it. And so we had some initial ideas about putting a score down. So we'd write maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen songs, I don't know, that underpins the score of the film. So that's a future ambition that could come together. We're not quite sure how, but Jack put down this particular track to begin with. And how did you put the words together, Jack?
Well, let's talk about it. Well, listen, then we'll
All
talk
right,
about it. Okay.
All right, yeah.
I don't like fuss, I'm a simple man. I take my time cause I know I can. I need to shut down and get out of town. Kick a tin can on my way to the van. On my way to Lanky Land. Oh, getting close to Lanky Land. It took 15 years to release the tears. 2 more miles and I'll hit those tiles. Getting close to Lanky Land. I need to go down to the station. them with identification. If I don't comply, they'll be asking why. It's the beginning of their modernization. Oh, I'm on my way to Lanky Land. Oh, getting close to Lanky Land. It took 15 years to release the tears. 2 more miles and I'll hit those tiles. Getting close to Lanky Land. That carnival show is a hit this year. Let's participate while we're waiting here. Admire the collection of floats and boats. There's no like getting out here in Lancashire.
Out in Canada, and that's called Lankyland, and that's where we live, isn't it? We live in Lankyland.
Well, yeah, Lankyland is a kind of a nickname, isn't it, for Lancashire?
yeah,
And I'm very proud to be a Lancastrian, and that Jack put that together off the idea of from the book that I wrote, and so there's a future project there waiting to somehow to be tackled, so we might be having a go at that in the not too distant future.
I think you should do. I think you should follow that up.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. We're at Lankyland.
Yeah.
So it's a book, and Jack wrote a song about it. Yeah.
You just what do, Jack? You just take the words of you just thumbed the book, opened a page, and then you took a line out the
Yeah, it sounds a bit like David Bowie used to do this, didn't he? He used to just take lines out of things and then stitch them together. And what I did in this case was Bill's book, or Bill's books, are all very good. I'd advise anybody to have a go at reading them. And this particular one, I think what comes across for me more than anything in this book called The Unputdownables is the affection for Lancashire as a place. That comes across really strongly. And I felt like the sentiment of the song, having discussed it with Bill, needed to express that, needed to come across. And I'm hoping that that's what it does. It's a bit like a road song where you kind of drive in a car and you know, every step of the way you're getting closer to home, and you get that comfort feeling that I'm nearly home now, I'm back in Lancashire. You know, you've been on that long journey, you're on your way back home. But literally, lines out of Bill's book, when you put them together, just made perfect sense. And I think what, you know, that's for me is one of the overriding sentiments that comes across from Bill's writing, is his affection for things gone past, you know, like the old machinery, and the place where he lives, the place where he was born up, which is Lancashire.
Yeah. Wigan, weren't you originally?
right. So what?
From Wigan originally, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a Wiganite. Yeah.
Hardy Butts.
Hardy Butts, yes, in Skulls. Yeah.
I was one of your neighbours in Skulls.
I know. But
So,
Jack has got a very, very similar, geographical grounding. Where were you from, Jack, originally?
I'm from a place called Ancoats in Manchester. But as I've got to know Bill over the years and some of the people we've played with, I'm very much an adopted Wiganer. They've converted me to pies and rugby league, big style.
It's got taste, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Haven't we done well with him?
It's converted, adopted Wiganer now. It's official.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, I must confess that obviously I'm a Wigan fan, but I always had a soft spot for Salford Rugby League Club. And I watched the game the other day when they were fighting for the survival, and there was a minute and a half left, and the score was, they were losing by about 10 points, and they scored 2 tries in the last minute and a half, and then he kicked a drop goal and won it for them. So I was absolutely particularly thrilled with for Salford.
I like games like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Wigan final.
Oh yeah.
Because it was up and down all the way through.
God, my emotions were just on the ceiling.
Yeah, I fell off the couch several times.
Yeah, I think everybody did. Nobody expected that, did they? But anyway.
Well, anyway, moving on. And who wrote the next one?
Yeah, this is called I Maggie. You can't believe we're looking all the time, and I know Jack's looking all the time. I certainly am, for songs to write. Inspiration behind songs comes from absolutely anywhere. I once joked about it, didn't we, Jack? We're cosmic receptacles. Where does it all come from? Where does this song come from, Jack? Where did that come from? Where did this come from? And somehow they just come from nowhere. Well, this particular one came from my Hoover. Better still, it was a Dyson, not a Hoover. But there you go. And it's going zzz, it does it. And I'm singing this song going, not making any particular sense. But that was the song and where it came from. And if you listen to the words carefully, and it's so there's a lot of sentiment in this particular song for days gone by.
Let's listen it.
When was it the last time I saw you? My memory's starting to fade. On checking my top secret diary, 'twas nigh on at least 5 decades. We'd meet at the gate by the gasworks, just like we did every day. I'll need more than a kiss and a cuddle, and each rambler would go a long way. I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm wanting to go out to play. I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm needing to see you today. I'm losing my marbles quite slowly, my arthritis I'm keeping at bay. Memories don't flow fast so freely. Will 7 and 6 be okay? Those nylon stockings you're wearing, you got from a man with a van. He'd pick up such things from the airbase. Then I saw you out pushing a pram. Hey, hey, Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm wanting to go out to play. I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm needing to see you today. I'm seeing your face in the moonlight, hot breath from your rosy red lips. I'll suffer you watch in the morning. To hell with my 2 brand new hips. I remember the wall of the brickworks. It was always so cozy and warm. And just as we found the right moment, the constable raised the alarm. I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm wanting to see you to play. I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie, I'm Maggie. My wife won't let me out today.
Well, I'm Maggie. I can tell you brought that because that's your language, isn't it?
I know.
Wigan Spake, as they say.
I know. I love the old school sentiment to that particular song, and I've been told that people do laugh when they hear the lyrics to it. So now then, I've never heard Chonkin Fettle live, but I've seen some of the videos, and it reminds me of something they might wish to do. So if you let them listen to that particular track, Diane,
I'll point them to the show.
Point them to the and let them have a listen to it to see what they think. And you never know. I just thought of them. I thought of you boys when I wrote this song. So if you want to have a little listen to it, I'd appreciate your feedback on it as well, or any of the songs on the album. Anyway.
Well, I don't like listening to a song and giving instant feedback. I like listening to it a few times because songs sink in or they don't sink in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's goes for the majority of Hart Carney songs. You have to sit down and listen to them.
There is an exception though.
What?
Track 12 on this sunk in straight away.
Oh, right. So
that really grabbed me straight away. It was brilliant. We're going to play that later on.
That's Light from Darkness, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
My friend John.
Yeah, Jack is responsible for that. And it's about his friend John.
Right, so we'll play it.
Yep. Yeah. Play it.
Me and my friend John, we always got on. We played out in the park till it got dark. We got a call from the mother hen. It's 10:15. Tomorrow you can do it all over again. Another wonderful day in the city. Another wonderful time to recall. Climbed to the top, so high he could never drop. He possessed so much wealth, but money rather than health. He climbed the wrong hill, he was oblivious and couldn't tell. A rose-colored lens, neglected family and friends. Whatever happened to my friend John? I remember the time we used to really get on. It's not too late for my friend John. There's time for us to still get on. One track mind, love is hard to find. Stone cold heart, living worlds apart. It's time to make amends. Those people aren't your friends. No need to be alone. It's time to come on home. It's a journey I can lead. Trust is all you need. So reach for my hand. I'll help you understand. Whatever happened to my is hard to find. Stone cold heart, stone cold heart, living worlds apart.
My friend John there, and I believe Jack's got a story behind that, haven't you?
Yeah, well, Bill was saying earlier about how we write. We don't write superficially. We write about things that we've experienced or things that mean a lot to us. I think that's the only way to write, really. And this was about where I grew up. I grew up in Ancoats. As Bill's described where he grew up in Wigan, very similar kind of background. It was a tough area, and but it's the old saying, people with the salt of the earth. People's values were very strong. And there's a lad I used to knock about with. I knocked about with him for quite a long time, and what happened was he went one particular direction, I went in another, and what happened was he became very rich, and he became very rich through not very nice means, really. He got into drugs in quite a big way, and unfortunately became an addict himself, and at that point started to lose all sense of who his friends were, who his family were, and all that kind of thing. And there's a sentiment in the song there which says, look, it's never too late, come back, we can help you get through this. But what I realised very quickly is you can only help people if they really want to be helped. And the first point is that person's got to say, look, I need to stop this, I need to get out of this. And unfortunately he never did, and he paid the price.
Wow, that's a strong. You can put it. That's a strong record, isn't it?
Yeah. No 2-minute pop songs.
No.
Talking about sweets for my sweet and things like that with us, Diane. No, we give it. You take 2 barrels and you take it between the between the eyes.
Well, I've got a friend who's a songwriter, and he writes songs like that.
Yeah.
And they're very hard to do.
Yeah. Very difficult.
Because you're thinking, am I going over the top? Am I not going over the top? I need to go a bit further.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. And the next song is called I've Got.
I'm responsible for this one.
What have you got?
I've got. And it started again. I've got a song running round my head is the first line. And you know that song that you can't get out of your head? Once you listen that, it repeats in your head.
Yes, I do.
Repeats. And it won't go away. Well, this is that particular song.
Let's play it.
I've got a song running round my head. Was it something I once said? Need to go lie down in bed, 'cause I've got a song running round my head. I've got a picture in my mind. Close my eyes, pretend I'm blind. Technicolors I can find, 'cause I've got a picture in my mind.
see it? Can you feel what I feel? We'll be alright, alright, let's go.
I've got a fluttering in my heart. I think I need a brand new start. With hope inside, I'll play my part. 'Cause I've got a fluttering in my heart.
Leo, Leo, Leo,
I wonder who that is. I just wonder who that is.
Yeah, that's me and Jack with the middle eight there. It was very, very nice of him to offer a middle eight to me because I couldn't think of one myself. So
I've got. Yeah, that's definitely country. I can just see you and Jack with a piece of straw in your mouth sat on some Bay Ale,
yeah,
playing it on Country Music Channel.
It is a country music song, and we're very fond. I know I'm very fond of American style country music.
Do you know where country music comes from?
Well, I can imagine it comes from the blues, really.
Nope.
You go, where?
Lancashire folk music.
Really?
Yes, that's where country and western comes from.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Really?
It surprised me when I found out as well.
Right. I mean, I've always accredited the American Midwest with that particular style of music, and coming out of the yeehaw and the bluegrass music that was written all those years ago. And of course, people like Lonnie Donegan used to get older songs, didn't he? Rock Island Line was a song that came from America because it was about the railroad man, and he was smuggling steel on his ship, on his train. And then when he was asked what had he got on board, he used to say, I've got pigs, I've got horses, I've got cows, I've got animals. And he hadn't. He was smuggling steel from county to county, so apparently, and it wasn't allowed to smuggle steel across borders in America. And so he was telling lies, you see. So, but that particular song comes on. That's an American-based country song, but comes from that kind of era, as it were. But anyway, I hope that guitar riff just burns into your brain and you can't get it out of your head, because that was the idea of the song.
I'll be playing it on my stereo at home, and I'll be getting well into them and having a good listen.
Yeah. Okay.
And in a week or two, I'll give you my answer, which I like them.
Yeah. All right.
Right. Twist in the Tail.
Yeah, Twist in the Tail. That's a song that really is born out of. You probably gathered that Bill and I have very much got a strong sense of community. We believe in the communities where we were brought up and raised and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I can remember as I was growing up, and I was fortunate enough to work in the area where I grew up. And over the course of my career, I came across lots of individuals who suddenly appeared when money became available to invest in the area. And I thought, who are these people? People in suits just arriving from nowhere and making big decisions. And then no sooner did they come, and then they'd gone again. And there's a line in the song which is reference to these people, which is they leap before they look. And basically they're making decisions before they've even considered things fully. And the twist in the tale is really all about the fact that actually these people will ultimately go. And, the twist is they might have a bit of power at a particular point in time, but eventually they move on and you're left back in the community. And for me, this is a plea, if you like, whether you're a politician or a professional person, have respect for communities and listen to what they say and what they want.
I'm in a room full of polished people with too much time on their hands. They think they can take care of our future, but I know that they don't understand. faced with a tall decision. It's a choice that's too easy to make. The rest of us see it coming closer. They'll regret what they decide in haste. Venus is related to Neptune, and I feel that the stars won't fail. I know that they're just soldiers of fortune, and it's just a twist in the tail. They make all the wrong decisions, 'cause they leap before they look. I'll never understand their motivation, 'cause their life should be an open book. Research and innovation, the solution is there to find. But their ego is really the issue here. They need to wake up to the signs. Venus is related to Neptune, and I feel that the stars won't fail. I know that they're just soldiers of fortune, and it's just a twist in the tail. Twist in the tail. Twist in the tail. Venus is related to Neptune, and I feel that the stars won't fail. I know that they're just soldiers of fortune, and it's just a twist in the tail. 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 Tail.
A twist in the tail, and yeah, interesting.
It is, isn't it? How these, you know, the attraction of people where they are sniffing out money, aren't they? Basically, to line their own pockets, and an area was delegated in Manchester for a brand new casino, and East Manchester has the Velodrome, and East Manchester also has the Manchester City Football Ground, the Etihad Stadium. And there was a plan at one stage, it was about 10 years ago, when they decided they wanted to put a massive casino right in the middle of the old Manchester engineering playground, as it were. I mean, that perhaps playground is the wrong word, but certainly that's where all the heavy engineering in Manchester came from, East Manchester. And of course there's massive areas of barren sites over there, so that's what they decided they wanted to do. It quickly got scuppered, but the point was that I know that Jack was sat in his college and the door was being knocked down by people from Las Vegas who didn't know Jack and didn't know anybody else, but all they had was pocketfuls of money, and they wanted to come in and buy up the entire east of Manchester, with the billions of dollars. And anyway, it didn't quite happen the way it was intended, but and thank goodness in a way. But Jack was in all the negotiations to do with that, and so I thought I'd give you a little bit of background. So he wrote a song about it.
Brilliant.
And that's the song.
Excellent. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
But anyway, next you brought the seal.
Very quickly, it's a song about first love. It's a song that's, when you're going through a breakup, as people inevitably do during their lives, it can seem like the most horrible thing in the world, especially if it's the first time. And that's what this one's about, really. But I hope there's a bit of optimism in there as well somewhere, if you can find it in some of the lines.
Yeah, you've got a problem. It's not gone to it.
Oh, okay.
It's all right, but it's not a. We can soon sort it out. We will play it now. And this is Hart and Carney, and you brought the seal.
I tried so hard to forget about you. I didn't think that I ever mattered to you. Hurt and loneliness came calling. You left me in a mess. I'm falling. Passes by, now you're far away. The seasons they fly, but now I'm okay. Sentences and preferences are simply to say and feel. Your actions have consequences. Most of us suffer from occasional doubt. We hide our emotions, looking for an easy way out. I'm killing time with things to do, and you're feeling fine and getting through. Sentences and preferences are simply to say and feel. Your actions have consequences. Oh, it's a challenging day. We have to find another way. Suffer from occasional doubts. We hide our emotions, looking for an easy way out. Even the best of us suffer from occasional doubts. We hide our emotions, looking for an easy way out.
You brought the seal there, Hart and Carney, and that's one of Jack's. So Jack, tell us the story.
Well, as I say, it's a song about first love. It's a song where, when somebody's been through a breakup, in this case it was me, you feel devastated, you feel really down at heel, and you think, well, when you look back at it, you actually think, well, that was the first time. That was the first time that you really found somebody or something that was actually quite close to you, and then it's not there. But then as you get older and you mature, that gets easier, and it's all part of life's experience, really.
It's a very philosophical view, that, Jack, because there's a lot of hurt and pain in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I once heard it said that developing a relationship, say for instance it lasts for 5 years, the relationship you develop, you get very, 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 very close. It takes about half of that time to recover from a breakup of it. That's 2.5 years of pain. Now then, I don't know, I've only heard it say. I have no kind of research done or anything, no medical science to back me up, but I would say that's just about quite right, because I think what it also does as well is warns people not to jump into a new relationship too quickly after a breakup. I think that's very important as well.
Yeah.
And
when you think, it's a good point, Bill, because when you think about music, and music's a great form of expression, as you know.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of a standard thing here, really. When people write songs, you think, is this song about a getting together? So everything's lovey-dovey and nice and happy. Is it about a breakup?
Yeah.
And there's lots of songs that fall into one of those two categories. Ooh. And that's why I think songs can mean so much to people, because they help them get through those times.
They do.
Particularly if the times are rough.
Fantastic.
Well, I had a time years ago, music's got me through every type of hard time I've had.
Yeah.
Really?
Simple, music.
Yeah.
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 Forget that, I've just had music.
Yeah.
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 And it's
I just remember a tough time I was going through, and I remember Enya got me through it. Irish.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, Enya.
Save a Whale.
Oh, that's it. All that stuff. I used to play that constantly, and I found it so therapeutic, and it used to take me down from all my anxieties and all my troubles that I was going through, and it used to take me down. So recommend is Enya for anything like that. Sorry, Enya. I mean, and if your music did it for me, let me put it that way.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, music's a fantastic hill. Anyway, we're going to the final track, and it's my favourite song. That's coming up right after this.
All the hits and more. It's your music in stereo.
Behind the dark,
ilaw sa kadiliman.
Agad ay nurse. Ayan.
Playing the best of yesterday and today. Your station, your music, 24 hours a day.
I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. Give me hope, Joanna. Hope, Joanna. Hope before the morning.
Playing the best of yesterday and today. This is your station. Wrightington Hospital Radio.
Hart and Carney, the classic tune, I love it to bits. And Light from Darkness, and there's a story behind that, and I want it. Come on.
Yeah, well, my initial responsibility was Light from Darkness. It came from a saying in Latin of my old college in Wigan College. Had a saying, and it's in Latin. It says, "Lux ex tenebris."
It was on my school badge.
Is it really?
It was, yeah.
And it simply means light from darkness. And that's where I got the kind of inspiration from to write a song around that. But I wanted it to be also a message for the people of the world to kind of realise their potential. If you can realise your potential, bring light from darkness, you can kind of get a lot of help from schools and colleges in this, because, you know, bringing your knowledge forward into the light, as it were. So that's how initially it became. So an educational type of trick I tried to pull here. And so, in other words, wake up, wake up. It's the very first day of school today, you know, and that's not necessarily, you don't need an educational institution to be able to do that. You just need to keep yourself informed and well aware of what's going on in the world. And then you can cope with living in it, because it's a hostile world we live in. There's no mistake. There's some horrible things going on. And it's just a message for people just to kind of get yourselves, kind of said, informed,
Yeah.
and move yourself away from the darkness into the light.
Yeah.
And that's how it came about. So I'd also something going on at the time that had also been festering away. Was in the studio in Shire's Head Old Church, where we do the recordings. The blinking toilet, after you flushed it, you can't believe I'm doing this. When we flushed it, it gave this horrible noise for about 5 minutes afterwards, while the cistern of the toilet filled up, and then it shut off. And while I'm in there, you know, washing my hands and doing things like that, I kind of started humming to this sound, the note that it gave. And I sang to myself, light from darkness, that one note. And I thought, oh, something there. So I flushed the toilet again and did it again and just sang da 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 da, you know, whatever. And that's how the song came together. It's one note all the way through it. It's the same note all the way through it. So I put the idea to Jack, as I usually do, and I said, look, you know, get this note. I've got some lyrics to begin with, and let's see what we can do to it. And we got together in his studio at home, and he had to put down this note, yeah, in this key of D, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
we recorded. We took my recorder into the toilet in Shire's Head, recorded the note, did a lengthy kind of 30-second job on it. Jack then took that note away and he put his keyboard note on top of it. Yeah. And that's what you've got. That's what's in the background on that particular song.
It works.
Mm.
It really works.
I think the other thing as well, though, is what Bill did is he sent a message out to people across the world and basically said, can you send me your interpretation in your language of Light from Darkness? And you take it from there, Bill.
Yeah. The response was amazing. I got a little write-up in the local rag. The Wigan Evening Post gave me a good spread on it, really. It wasn't just a little write-up, it was quite a write-up.
I've seen it.
And extolling the virtues of this particular song and asking for help on the line of Light from Darkness in different languages. And I got 9 different languages. I got
Fantastic.
9 different people. And each of those 9 people were from different continents of the world. So the world is represented in that particular song.
Brilliant.
So I've got from German, I've got Brazilian, I've got Portuguese, I've got I've got an Native American Indian language called Ute, UTE, the Ute tribe, and I've got their interpretation of Light from Darkness in their language.
Fantastic.
So I did very, very well on that. So just little sound clips on my iPhone, bring them into the studio, and Mick Armistead, who is our sound engineer, worked his magic, and that was it.
It really is good. That song works.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to move on, and we've got another song to play.
Final song, yeah. This is a little bonus for everybody. Jack and I sat down one day and we decided to invite a guy called Fred Backman into the frame. And Fred lives in Miami and Michigan. Depends what time of year, where you'll find him there. And he has initialized a song. Jack and I took it off him, did 1 or 2 bits to it, sent it back to him. He sent it back to us. We sent it back to him. He sent it back to us, and we gave it to Mick. And Mick has done this.
Really don't know what it'll be like. We took a long turn from the innocent life. Who will we call our brothers? And who will help one another? We really don't know what it'll be like. What it'll be like.
We're not afraid of losing good times. We just don't want to fall between the lines. It helps us savor what we win, as long as we know where to begin. Then we know what it'll be like. What it'll be like.
Concrete, glass, and steel may be destroyed by hardened hearts. Show them how you feel. Love can be killed or blown apart. Can they understand? Really don't know what it'll be like. What it'll be like. Love and light is the way.
always turning to the light. We love all our sisters and our brothers, our friends and our lovers. Now we understand what it'll be like. What it'll be like. Concrete, glass and steel may be destroyed by hardened hearts. Show them how you feel. Love can't be killed or blown apart. Can they understand? Really don't know what it'll be like. What it'll be like. Love and light
Is the way.
Love and light.
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 Is the way.
I'm Merry Brits, that's called, isn't it, the band? I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We had to call ourselves something, didn't we? And that's the telephone going. Yeah. And yeah, we had to call ourselves something, and we were kicking ideas around, and a Merry Brits came up, and that was it. And we spelt the word differently, because the internet, as soon as you go on the internet and try and find out if somebody has used a name, and inevitably somebody had used the name of a Merry Brits with an S on the end, which is natural to use. So I changed the S to the Z, and the Merry Brits was born. And that's what Fred, Jack, and myself are all about. And that's our first ever single released this year. And,
Brilliant, love it.
And again, it's a world message. Jack, do you want to say something about it, being a world message?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, it's great that we can collaborate, even though there's a distance of 4,000 miles between us. You know, we've got Fred, who's got a great pedigree in the music business. We really respect what he's done in the past. And he came over a couple of years ago. Bill organised some gigs for him and his band over here. And it's there that we met, and that's where the bond was initially struck. And we've been working together really well ever since. I mean, we get on really well. Again, we've opened up, as we said earlier, we're open to listening to ideas from one another, and it's great to see how three people who live very, very far apart can actually come together with sentiments of world messages like this.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's brilliant. We've got a fantastic partnership going on.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
Lucky.
We're very lucky indeed. Jack and I have each other musically, and now we've included Fred in the Merry Brits. We've got the two projects running side by side. We've got the next song lined up for the studio from a Merry Brits. It's called One Chance, and
We'll get it to you as soon as you can.
yeah, we'll get it to you as soon as we can. And we've got subsequent songs in the pipeline as well.
Brilliant.
So I've written When Two Worlds Rock, and Fred has another song. So that's what we'll keep doing it.
Keep us updated on that.
Absolutely. So
Anyway, thank you for coming in.
thank you for inviting us, Diane.
Yeah, thank you, Dan.
And I'm going to play this. So we've got in the studio Jack Hart, Bill Hart and Jack Carney from Hart and Carney. And thank you so much for coming in. And we'll hear this on the internet now, won't we?
Thank you for hosting the show on my behalf. The Lanky Beat Show will be with you in a couple of weeks' time with a new guest, and I'll be hosting back to normal. And Goodbye and God bless everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Crazy for you. Crazy for you.
Our song is your song.
Our music is your music.
We care about you.